Despite all their success, what forced BTS into giving it all up in 2018? BTS are ruling the charts now, but just a few years ago, they were penniless hopefuls that could barely afford to eat. Their story proves that the road to the top is never easy. It all began way before 2013. Way before 2013, when BTS had their South Korean debut, the group didn't really consist of Jin, JIMIN, JHOPE, JUNGKOOK, Namjoon, Taehyung, and Yoongi. The truth is that the only member who remained from the original lineup is the current leader of BTS, RM. Big Hit was creating their first K-pop boy group and they were planning on letting them debut in 2010. Some of the previous trainees that were supposed to be in the band were former members of ADAM and Kido from Top Dog, or Suong from Boys Republic. The leader was meant to be a rapper called Iron, whose real name is Jung Cho. The interesting thing is that Iron continued to be really close to Kido after they both left Big Hit Entertainment. Unfortunately, both of them were charged with being a little on the shady side and were sentenced to prison in 2017 for a few months. This first idea of the group obviously didn't get to the finish line, and the whole composition was drastically changed. All the members of BTS were recruited into the company differently, some by auditions and others were scouted by agents like Jin, who had already turned down SM Entertainment. When it came to Jungkook, he was actually asked to join 7 different companies, including JYP and Cube Entertainment. This happened after his unsuccessful audition for Superstar in 2011. It's said that he decided to sign the contract with Big Hit Entertainment after he visited the company and heard Namjoon rap. I mean, true, that could probably persuade all of us. But let's not get things twisted here. Big Hit was really struggling back then. The company actually almost filed for bankruptcy and closed down. In 2007, Big Hit had only 4 employees and they could barely keep up with the paychecks. You might think that as soon as BTS came around, the company became immediately rich. But that's not the case. It was a really long journey to get there. But let's not skip the most crucial parts of the story. We'll get there soon, I promise. These 7 boys were quite something. They all lived together in one tiny little room for years and years. Every single one of them struggled. They had barely any money to buy food or for public transport. It was sometimes so hard that they shared their meals and had to encourage each other to continue. But wait till you hear this one. Precious Jimin almost got kicked out, and not once, not twice, it was actually 8 times. It's impossible to imagine BTS without Jimin, but the truth behind this story is that the staff from the company had doubts if he could become a star. Some people didn't think that he would do well in BTS, and they were thinking about cutting him out from the 7-member group a day before their debut. Crazy, right? We can only guess if the boys were just joking around or if they were telling the truth. Now, he's such an icon that he makes everyone's heart jump, and the group just wouldn't be the same without him. Thank God they let him stay. However, Jimin isn't the only member who almost didn't make it. J-Hope literally left the group during their pre-debut days. What was the reason? He felt like he had no hope and confidence left. Namjoon had to convince him to come back and talk to the staff to make that happen because he couldn't imagine what it would be like without him. He said that they wouldn't make it without Hoseok. Heartbreaking, isn't it? J-Hope now gives hope to millions of people out there who want to achieve their dreams. No more dreams, only reality. On the 6th of June 2013, the public could finally watch the first teaser for the upcoming debut single of BTS called No More Dream. After that, there was a series of trailers put out that captured everyone's interest. Shortly before the group videos were officially put out, Big Hit Entertainment had released a picture of Taehyung. Up to that point, the whole K-pop world thought that the group would consist of only 6 members. Taehyung with his pseudonym V, which stands for Victory, which is supposed to be a secret weapon to attract more attention and make a big fuss around the group's debut. He once revealed that he felt left out and very sad during this period because he couldn't film vlogs with other members or take pictures with them at special occasions, like for example, Jungkook's high school graduation. While his fellow members would talk to cameras, he would be sitting in the corner of the room and they would watch them film themselves. Although it sounds sad, he got quickly over it after they debuted. On the 11th of June, the music video for the title song No More Dream was released, and the boys were caught singing, "I want a big house, big cars, and big rings." Life really comes full circle, huh? Not only do they own fancy cars and big apartments now, but they have a whole army rooting for them in every corner of the world. BTS didn't only drop a debut song in 2013, they came out with a single album called Too Cool for School, which had a very distinctive hip-hop vibe. It's pretty clear that they switched their approach a little later on. From focusing only on hip-hop, they started to produce music that is more idol-like. But let's look into one of the biggest struggles they had to overcome right after their debut. And yes, it's about nothing else but their name. The name Bangtanso년단 got a lot of hate because many people found it ridiculous, cheesy, or stupid. It's extremely hurtful when someone mocks their name, especially when it has such a strong and deep message. Their name Bangtan means to be resistant and to face all the hate and malice that people send towards you. Basically, it's like being bulletproof. Not only were they criticized for their name, but it didn't take long to call them ugly or not idol-worthy. There were also people making fun of their clothes and style. The reason why their first music videos and clothing choices looked so low cost and frugal is that Big Hit Entertainment was really struggling to keep the cash coming in and had to think twice before spending money on anything. Thankfully, our boys don't have to to worry about that anymore, but it took a while for them to get there. 2013 wasn't the only year of their debut though. It marked their first major moment too. The boys had a goal to win an award at Melon Music Awards. The one they had in mind was the Best New Artist, and even though they had many doubts, their dream to get the award came true. It was a huge deal for them, and you get only one chance to win that category. It's not like you can go for it every year. Big success comes with a lot of pain. In 2014, BTS managed to release their first Japanese album called Wake Up. If you're new here, you might find it strange and you're probably asking yourself, why would a K-pop group release a Japanese album? It's nothing new in the industry though. The groups have been doing it for ages, and releasing a Japanese album is quite a big step actually. It helps the Korean groups attract more attention in other countries and get better promotions in Japan. With better promotion comes more money and more media coverage. It's mostly about marketing and business, which makes a lot of sense. But the success of those 7 talented boys was about to explode. In fact, they were gonna get bigger than anyone could have predicted. Their career was facing a new era, and in 2015, it all took a quick turn when they released I Need You. At this point, their fandom was getting bigger and bigger. Little did BTS know that their first major scandal was around the corner. And trust me, it was big. We'll get into that in a minute. I Need You was released on the 29th of April in 2015. The original music video was more than 5 minutes long, and it was pretty clear that it has some kind of message. The ARMY had already started to create fan theories, conspiracies, and really tried to link the video to other work from BTS. Interestingly, Big Hit was still not doing that great, and they couldn't afford anything too expensive. That's why the budget for the video was so small, and that they needed to borrow the cars that belonged to their managers and have them in the video. But despite the fact that they couldn't spend a lot of money on it, the song became an immediate success, and BTS won their first #1 on the music shows, such as M Countdown, Show Champion, or Music Bank. Overall, they got 5 #1 awards during the I Need You era. You might think that the boys could finally celebrate and enjoy their win, but no. The first controversy was already brewing. Some people were so bold to accuse Big Hit of sajigi. What does that mean? Basically, it's when companies buy their own artist's album in huge amounts to get them a better position on the music charts. The reason why netizens were accusing BTS of sajigi was because they outranked groups like Big Bang, Super Junior, and they just couldn't believe that the young group like them could do that. Some people took the controversy to such an extent that they started to use the hashtag #plagiarismboys and almost ruined BTS's career when it was just taking off. And what was the actual reason for their skyrocketing success? Their fan base. ARMY decided to buy a lot of albums and get them the #1 spot they deserved. So it wasn't Big Hit Entertainment, but their actual fans who loved them enough to do this for them. ARMY always has their back, almost at their peak. While BTS were slowly breaking through the mainstream and commercial success, their music was getting more and more recognition, and their fan base was growing every day. The music video for Dope was their first to surpass 100 million views on YouTube. Now they get that amount of views on the day of their newest release. Isn't that mind-blowing? More importantly, between 2015 and 2016, they had continued with their youth series, releasing song Run, and at the end of the final album of the collection, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Young Forever. This had a significant impact. The youth series were exploring such sensitive topics like mental health, loneliness, success, and the importance of family roots. That's not very often seen in K-pop music. BTS have proven over and over again that they are not your ordinary idol group, and the topics discussed in their work are literal proof of that. However, once again, they were the victims of clueless accusations of plagiarism. This time, it was way worse, because of it being linked to big groups like SHINee and Big Bang. When BTS released their hit song Fire, people thought that they plainly copied clothes that Big Bang wore too. The truth is that both groups used the latest collection by Yves Saint Laurent, and it was literally just a coincidence. With SHINee, it was a bit more serious though. Some people believe that BTS stole their album concept and literally plagiarized the whole photo shoot. Some people to this day still think that it was done on purpose. The story of the whole hashtag #plagiarismboys was so strong in those years that some netizens went hella far with it, even saying that BTS are selling their own bodies to make a profit. Isn't that terrible? But unfortunately, it's not the only heartbreaking thing haters had to say about them. On the 7th of May 2016, the boys performed at the Olympic Gymnastics area in Seoul. This was supposed to be the biggest moment of their career so far, and one of Yoongi's dreams that he wanted to cross off his bucket list. What happened was that the haters united together and created a huge group of people that started to use the hashtag Bangtan Plagiarism Controversy. The ARMY used their own one, which was Burn It All Up BTS. Despite them trying their best, at the end of the concert, the antis hashtags were already trending right below the one from the ARMY. Even days after the concert, the hashtags continued to rule the Korean internet. The 5th most used was #plagiarismboys, as you can see on the picture. BTS addressed this issue during the final opening of their Wings tour in 2017. On one of the screenshots from the opening video, there are written words like prejudice and plagiarism. Along with that, there are also Korean words that stand for sajigi and plagiarismboys. But trust me, the hate didn't get the best out of them, and they continued to work even harder than before. At the end of 2016, they released their next studio album called Wings. The title track was Blood, Sweat, and Tears, which Namjoon described as a song that shows how one thinks, chooses, and grows. The song was critically acclaimed and it reached #1 on Korean music shows. It also hit the Billboard music chart and stole the spotlight from others, settling on a very good position. Not only the title song, but the whole album was such a hit that they earned the Day Song on Melon Music Awards. Our Kings deserved it. This song is the award that every K-pop artist wants to get, and it means Album of the Year, Artist of the Year, or Song of the Year. It wasn't the only award they got though. At the 2016 Mnet Music Awards, they earned another daesang in the category of the Artist of the Year. And although many people thought they could never make it and doubted that they would be able to win those big categories, BTS continued to prove them wrong. They were the first K-pop group from a small company that won so many awards in the most important categories. But 2017 was just about to begin, and the world tour was making its way through. Meanwhile, the boys caught the attention of the media in the USA, and things were about to seriously blow up. The world was becoming theirs. With Wings being their first album that sold more than 1 million copies, it was only natural to think that those 7 boys are not to be messed with. The whole world started to realize that they mean business, and they didn't come to play. In February 2017, they started with the Wings tour that lasted up to December of the same year. It was a world tour, during which they visited 12 different countries. At this point, the name BTS was starting to be brought up in the American media much more than ever before. They were even invited to Billboard Music Awards. They were also nominated in the category of the top social artist. And yup, they made history. Not only did BTS become the first K-pop group to ever win this award, but they were the first K-pop group to attend the Billboard Music Awards. Their acceptance speech was really something to watch. Namjoon addressed their fans, spread the message of love, and also spoke in Korean to let people know that they didn't forget where they come from, that they are still 7 guys from Korea. It was beginning to be more than obvious that they were no longer the young boys promoting their own concert, handing out flyers and letting people come for free. But they became an international music phenomenon that was about to take the world by the biggest storm since the times of the Beatles. They turned a struggling small company into one of the most profitable companies in Korea. Big Hit entered the so-called Big Three of K-pop, which is made out of YG, SM, and JYP Entertainment. Now Big Hit is equal to any of them, and it seems only right to call them the Fantastic Four of the K-pop entertainment industry. 2017 was really more than just a successful year for BTS. As the first K-pop group, they performed at the VMAs with their hit song DNA, and honestly, the fans were so loud. It reminded everyone of how big BTS really are, and they weren't about to stop. They also performed at Jimmy Kimmel Live with the remix version of Mic Drop that eventually became the most popular BTS song in the US at the time. Taehyung and Jungkook singing Did You See My Bag? It's hella trophies and it's hella thick was probably more than just a statement, because the boys were about to get so many more awards in the upcoming years. They have also visited the Ellen Show and James Corden. Basically, every big show in America was interested in having them as guests. And although that was definitely a big success, they did something incredibly beautiful. In the October of 2017, they joined their power with UNICEF in a campaign called End Violence. BTS donated 3% of the income from the Love Yourself series physical album sales, and Big Hit Entertainment gave $400 to the campaign. They finished the year with a successful performance at the Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve, which is also the first time that a K-pop group performed on that show. Everything seemed to be going right for the Magnificent Seven, but there were still tough times ahead. They faced disbandment. When 2018 began, it was pretty obvious that it was going to be an amazing year for BTS. No one could imagine that they would fall or go through something terrible. The music charts loved them. Their army was literally ready to stand up for them anytime, and there were dozens of awards awaiting them. They released a documentary series titled Burn the Stage, which showed behind the scenes from the previous world tour. Later on, they released their 3rd Japanese album Face Yourself, and continued to work on their Korean album Love Yourself Tear. This album debuted at #1 on the US Billboard 200. Once again, they were invited to Billboard Music Awards and won the award for the top social artist, and this time also performed. It was their lead single, Fake Love, from the latest album. During this period, BTS were publicly recognized by the South Korean President Moon Jae-in, who congratulated them for their achievements and shared a touching message with the citizens of the country. Bangtan, which literally means bulletproof in Korean, was born out of the will to protect teenagers from prejudice and oppression. The names of each member, Jin, SUGA, JHOPE, RM, JIMIN, V, and JUNGKOOK, are going to be remembered for a long time. Thank you to BTS for spreading joy across Korea and the world with your great performances. This man knew what he was saying because he was 100% right. Their names are going to be remembered forever. In August, they released an album Love Yourself, Answer, which included a track Idol, plus a special digital version featuring a fresh mother Nicki Minaj, who also promoted the song on her social media. The music video for Idol, receiving 45 million views on the day of its release, broke the record for the most viewed video on YouTube in 24 hours. Up to that point, it was Taylor Swift with her Look What You Made Me Do video that was holding the spot. As you probably already know, this record was later overpowered, and it was once again done by our boys, BTS. In September of 2018, BTS were invited to give a speech during the UN General Assembly. Namjoon mentioned very touching moments from his own life. I used to look up at the night sky and wonder, and I used to dream of the dreams of a boy. I used to imagine that I was a superhero who could save the world. Almost at the end of the speech, he said, "We have to learn to love ourselves, so now I urge you to speak yourself." No matter how many tears we had shed at that moment, it was nothing compared to what was about to come at the end of the year. In October, they were called by Time magazine the leaders of the next generation and appeared on the cover too. At the end of the year, they won their 3rd Artist of the Year award at Mnet Asian Music Awards. The touching words of the group left everyone speechless. When every member spoke to the audience, it was Jin who had the last word and made everyone cry. He shared how they had been going through a very hard time at the beginning of 2018. They were stressed and anxious, and they talked about disbandment because they felt like it was getting a bit too much. During the speech, Taehyung couldn't hold in his tears anymore and let the emotions flow. Jin thanked all the members for changing their minds and staying in on the group. Who knows how today's music world would look like without BTS? One can hardly imagine them not releasing their work every year. They killed it in 2019. The year 2019 was definitely filled with great milestones and achievements that the group could be proud of. They were once again the first K-pop group to do something, and this time it was presenting at the 61st Grammy Awards. In April, the band released their EP Map of the Soul, Persona, with the title song Boy With Love that featured famous American pop singer Halsey. This collaboration was literally filled with positive energy and cheery pop tunes that all of us were vibing to. The music video for the song was watched 74.6 million times in the first 24 hours. That's insane. However, it wasn't the only achievement in the first half of that year. The digital music app Spotify announced that BTS is not only the first Korean act, but the first Asian artist that surpassed 5 billion streams on the platform. This happened literally on the day of the release of Boy With Love. At this point, BTS could be easily and without any doubts compared to the Beatles. The EP became so popular that the American business magazine Forbes had this to say about it. The set, which debuted atop the Billboard 200 in April, becoming the band's 3rd leader at the time, has sold 312,000 copies in some physical form, which is a true feat, especially considering the fact that it's a non-English release. And what does that mean? Well, Map of the Soul Persona became the #1 best-selling albums in the United States in 2019. It outran Jonas Brothers, Lady Gaga with Bradley Cooper, and even Billie Eilish. Can we take a moment and appreciate how huge that achievement is? And if you think that it was the only best-selling album in the US, you're wrong, darling. The album sold 3,878,176 copies in South Korea, which made it the best-selling album of all time. However, this record was surpassed by BTS themselves in 2020 with the release of Map of the Soul 7, which sold 4,332,207 copies to this day. The group performed at Billboard Music Awards that year alongside Halsey, and it was just a blast to watch them. And although the previous year the group revealed that they struggled to keep going, 2019 was definitely once again their year. They took home 2 awards from BBMAs and continued killing it. The boys released songs with such icons like the queens of hyperpop Charlie XCX and Juice WRLD. One of the biggest achievements was their last performance of their Love Yourself, Speak Yourself world tour. They sold 3 nights at Seoul's Olympic Stadium. But get ready, because this will blow your mind. It is estimated that the income they made from those 3 nights is almost equal to the 2018 Winter Olympics at Pyeongchang did. How crazy is that? The most heartbreaking part of the last performance was when the leader spoke to the fans and expressed his love towards them, and how thankful he is that they are all in this journey together. Though Love Yourself, Speak Yourself ends here, the journey, the path to finding how to love ourselves doesn't. BTS also broke a record with their movie Bring the Soul, which became the widest ever event cinema release. And even though all of this is a tremendous success, they outdid themselves during the 2019 award shows in South Korea. The boys in all of the major categories at MAMA and also at Melon Music Awards. They did it again. They rewrote the history of K-pop and became the first group to ever win all the important awards in the most popular music shows. BTS are on the run, but they're not running away. They're running towards the biggest goals one could ever think of. And trust me, they're taking it all. BTS isn't just a group, they're a blueprint. 2020 started for BTS as great as it ever could. After the release of their albums Map of the Soul 7, they became the first group to earn 4 #1 albums since the Beatles in 1968. They also performed at Grammys with Lil Nas, his biggest hit Old Town Road. The group was supposed to start their next world tour, but due to the coronavirus measures, it was postponed. While 2020 has been hard for many artists, BTS have continued to kill it, even without live shows. This year, BTS became the first South Korean artist to sell 20 million copies of their album together, which is a really huge deal. However, that still wasn't the peak of their career. On August 21st, they released their first all-English song Dynamite. They outdid themselves once again, and the music video broke the record. In 24 hours, it got more than 100 million views. As of this time, the music video still reigns supreme. The boys have performed this amazing song also in the AMAs and BBMAs. Plus, they have been nominated for the first Grammy Award. You could say that the pandemic gave them enough time to create fantastic music and finally get the big prize, a Grammy. It's just the right time. Wouldn't you say so? Well, that's not all though. On the 20th of November, BTS released their newest album called B. Its title song, Life Goes On, became an immediate success and is currently ruling the music charts, as expected. We have to only wait and see what the future will bring to these 7 amazing men with so much talent, passion, and creative vision. Let's remember one thing, guys. Their main goal was always to urge people to love one another, protect each other, believe in your dreams, find your path, and stand up for what's right. If BTS don't prove that love outwins hate, then we have a serious problem here. It's pretty clear that their worldwide success isn't just like 15 minutes of fame. Their impact will last forever. BTS are rewriting the history of K-pop every single day, and they continue to do so even now. All the hardships and terrible things that happened to them brought them here and made them stronger. On the other hand, every beautiful moment or achievement they experienced acts as an inspiration for others. I don't know about you, but I have a feeling that BTS have many years ahead that will only prove that they're more than just a K-pop group. They're royalty. I hope you enjoyed today's video, guys, and love the journey of BTS as much as I do. Let's show our boys even more love next time. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, lovelies!